All right. Thank you for joining us for our third episode of the 217 podcast. We're here today with Geoff Owens, who is the co-creator of the 217 Wiffle Ball Classic. So thank you for joining us, Geoff.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So kind of want to start here. Why wiffle ball? Before we even get into what a great cause this is for, why wiffle ball?
So you mentioned co-creator. The man behind this whole thing was my nephew, or is my nephew, excuse me. He's just a lot younger at the time when we started. So 7 years ago, just a 12-year-old kid from Mount Zion wanted to have a wiffle ball tournament in his backyard. Well, it started with he wanted the field. His mom wanted the pool. Jeannie said, well, we're not going to do the pool, so we decided to get a wiffle ball field going. So he didn't really know where to start. He kind of asked me because, with your family, your brothers, he knew that I knew some people that would go play wiffle ball, right? Sure. Not just his buddies. And we could kind of create a fundraiser. And I said, that's fine, but you have to have a cause. We're not just going to tell people to come play, charge them money, and take their money, and they don't know what it's for. So at that time, his grandma Betty on his dad's side was going through Alzheimer's. So I had a friend, the Hendricksons, obviously, who were going through the same thing. So it just kind of clicked right there. It was a no-brainer. I said, we'll put this out there. We'll just call it, at the time, I don't even know what it was called, ALZ, Backyard Fun Time. Who knows what it was? Something not as official as it is now, obviously. So we started there. We got 8 teams. We raised $1,000, and we were over the moon. It was a one afternoon type thing. We had a pitching net for the backstop, and probably bases from played again from like the 90s from my dad's shed. Yep. We put them down, and it was a success. And then we kind of started building off of that. But that was the reason for wiffle ball, and then hand in hand, that's the reason for Alzheimer's. Sure. So after that, we found that even after the first year, even though it was kind of friends and family, it kind of spoke to us and everybody else because everybody's been affected in one way or another. And if they haven't, they kind of know that they will be, unfortunately, with this disease. So, it kind of snowballed from there. That's awesome. So the first year you raised $1,000. Last year, the tournament happens in August. Yep. What was the total? We were right at $100,000 in 8 years. 7 years. 7 years. So a 6-year difference, $100,000. And as we've evolved now, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but now we're able to impact the community in other ways. We're not raising money just for Alzheimer's now. That is always near and dear to our heart. That's where we're going to continue to stay. But we found that we've been able to raise so much money that we can actually impact the people in our lives, in our community. Sure. Okay, let's back up a little bit and just tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you from here? You grew up here. Why are you still here today? Yeah, so born and raised in Mount Zion. Went to school K through 12 over there. Went to Jacksonville for a little while, Illinois College, and came back and found myself living kind of in Decatur area, with some buddies after school, trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. Then I went away for a little bit to start my logistics career, and now I'm here. Met my wife here. She's from here as well. And we just moved to Mount Zion this past year with our 2 kids. So. Awesome. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. Why didn't you want to stay in Jacksonville? Well, I was there for school. Yeah. And my whole family's here. I've got some deep roots here. Going through I'm a Wells on the other side, and Owens here. We're kind of all here. So, it's just a place I've grown up and loved, and I'll continue to do so. So as it relates to wiffle ball, I guess, how you said EP wanted to start the wiffle ball tournament. Did you grow up playing sports? Tell us about that and how sports means something in your life. Yeah, so I mean, he probably got it. Well, I say he probably got it. He got it from our family and his dad's side too. Everybody was a big sports enthusiast. So I grew up with 2 older sisters, so whether I liked it or not, I grew up in a gym and at the ball field. My dad was actually the coach of all their teams and all my teams, so obviously sports has been a huge impact on my life. I continued to play sports after high school and to college, the reason I went to Jacksonville. So we've kind of passed that down to, my sister's kids and all my nieces and nephews. So Ethan is probably the biggest sports enthusiast of the family, I'd say. He just kind of dives in headfirst. He's very knowledgeable about any sport there is, and now he's kind of he's known as the wiffle ball guy, which makes sense because he knows so much about it. But no, the love for the games that we've all played, and it goes with show choir too. As you guys know, we've got a big program here. Really, when it comes to our family, we just, like I said, we dive head into that stuff, and anything that can get us together as a family that's kept us together, it's been sports and show choir. So to do this really kind of elevated that in a way that we didn't see coming, but it's been the biggest blessing probably in my family's, our family's history. It goes way beyond the ball field now. And the impact that we're seeing not only with Ethan, but his younger siblings, and even his older brother, who's very proud of him, into Molly's kid Owen, and now my kids are seeing it and wearing the purple and know why we're wearing purple. It's something that like I said, we didn't see coming, but it's been a huge blessing.
Who's better at wiffle ball, you or Ethan?
Okay, so I have to say Ethan because he can hit way better than I can. And I'm the old man, and every year I have an injury, so I'm on the IR more often than not. So I'll give the nod to him on that one.
Tell me, okay, let's talk about specifically the tournament. When does it happen? Go over some of the logistics of the tournament, and then what does it take people-wise, whatever, what does it take to put that on?
Yeah, so every August, initially we started this thing. We would do the second week of August as to not interfere with the celebration and the Pony Express. We kind of be right smack dab in the middle. We've changed that now since, unfortunately, there is no more celebration. We've kind of taken that week and kind of made it our own. So this year it's August 1st through the 6th, I believe. It runs Tuesday to Sunday. It did not start like that. It did not start 5 days. It was only 1 day tournament, and now it's kind of grown into all of this because we do have the youth division. We used to call it non-competitive, but we learned very quickly that it is not non-competitive. It's probably the most competitive. Very competitive. It's very competitive within the stands and the stands and on the field. And honestly, that's the best part. We'll get into that. But we just started adding we kind of doubled up teams every year. Went from 8 to 16 to 24, 32, 48. Now we're at 56. Okay. So it's 101 games on one field, allotting 30 minutes for each game. And as you know, we have a home run derby and other little events in there. But that is 5 days. It's 2 nights at the beginning. I like to get the non-competitive. I'm still into it. I like to get the kids games or the youth games. I think we're calling it the minor division now. Okay. I like to get them early and often because that's when the lights are the brightest and the field looks great and everybody's excited and they're there. And the kids they just absolutely love it. It's Wrigley Field to them. So I like to get that started early, and then we'll trickle in the adults, and we start kind of full blow on Thursday. We start at noon to 10, and it's 10 to 10, 10 to 10, 10 to 10 throughout the weekend. So to do that takes an army. Yes. And we do have that. We have an incredible volunteer base. And not only that, we have incredible just backing where sponsors come out and help. We don't ask. They just show up. And we're like, oh, are you here to see where your banner's at? And they're like, no, where do you want me to work? Put me to work. Do this for me. What do you need? Which you can't do something like this without that. It's impossible. Much like the celebration where behind the scenes, I got to see that with swings. Yeah. Just the hard work that goes into behind, Right. Everybody sees the bright lights and the fun and all the money that's raised and all that. But gosh, there is a lot of time and effort that goes into it. And it's top to bottom. It's from me and EP, all the way down to the people that are literally sitting in the parking lot for hours on end, making sure that things are going smoothly. And I can say this, shockingly, in 7 years, we have not had a massive incident, right?
Yeah, right.
Obviously, the rain.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, guy.
Yeah.
But the rain for 4 days, the 1 year, was almost detrimental. But it turned out to be fine because we had people bringing in bales of hay from farmers that we didn't even call.
Yep.
Like it just happened.
Yeah.
You know, your husband ran into the school and grabbed mats and laid them, and we wouldn't have been able to play without that. Just like we wouldn't have been able to play without the hay, or, you know.
People really, blowing the field off at 8 in the morning all night probably. Yeah.
Taylor Landscaping coming in this year, 2 hours before the game start, that it just wouldn't happen. Because we did have a downpour on Wednesday night this year. And I mean, the field is underwater, and everybody's like, okay, when are we making up games? Like, we're not. We're playing. And to this day, we've delayed a couple, and we kind of had to start early on a day or two, but we've never missed a game. So, which that's always been a lot of the things we do at EP Field, we do because we did it at the beginning. Like, it's our core values. Like, you pay to play 3 games, you're going to play 3 games.
Right.
I don't care if we don't have a tournament at the end. I don't care if anybody's mad about it. The guy that's coming from Bloomington to play 3 games is going to play 3 games. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, we'll make adjustments. Luckily, we haven't had to, and everybody respects that, I think. You know, it's in the same way kind of how we draw pools and how our rules are, they are the same as when we started. We're not altering them for people or to make it, you know, better for one person and not the other. It's just how it is. Because, you know, as I say, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
And I think everybody, you know, you've been there for years now, just the camaraderie and the sense of community when you're there, it's second to none.
Yes.
So really, we're not going to change anything we do. We've always added stuff.
Yeah.
And we get a little crazy here and there, right? But most of the stuff's worked out. Some of the stuff we won't talk about that hasn't. We just don't do it.
That's okay, yeah.
But,
we don't have to.
You know, just the levels of which we've gone to and the people that just don't, you know, we give them credit. We have a volunteer party. You know, we do that for them.
Right.
And we do small things here and there for people and for businesses that people don't see. But we hope that everybody, you know, appreciates it. Yeah, we're just going to continue to do that, and hopefully we still get the backing. And it's not looking like it's slowing down anytime soon.
I would say not. My dad was a yard fanatic, and we played wiffle ball on the concrete because we couldn't play in the grass.
Play in the yard. Yeah, sure.
So the yard takes a beating.
It does. It does.
How long does it take to recover?
It's a field now. It's not a yard, which, you know, is credit to Jeannie and Chuck.
Yes.
But you know, they see the impact they've had and on our family, right, and their kids. Like this has been huge. They've grown in ways that they never thought possible just because of wiffle ball.
Sure.
So in the end of the day, it's a massive hassle, and I'm speaking for them, and they may have other conversations.
They have other stronger words,
sure, but they appreciate it, right? And we do everything that we can to get it fixed once this, because even if it doesn't rain, there's still a circle where the base paths are because we ran on them for, you know, 50 hours.
Yeah.
So that's
over
just
100 games.
Yeah, it is how it is what it is in that regard. But no, that it just depends on the weather, the timing of getting the field back together. It's all circumstantial, I guess. But again, you need something, and somebody reaches out. Like 2 years ago when we had all that rain, we had a guy drop off hundreds of pounds of seed, and we didn't ask for it. He just dropped it off. He said, "I don't know if you need it, but here it is." So stuff like that, just it's crazy. But yes, hats off to Jeannie and Chuck. You know, it was Jeannie's pool and it's Chuck's yard.
Yes,
and it's, you know, we wreck it. And they go into it knowing, so they may have a few more drinks that week as well. They should, because and they also host over 1,000 people at their house.
At their home.
Now we don't go inside, but the community's in it.
Yeah. So tell me, obviously there's other places to have wiffle ball.
Right.
Why keep it at the house?
I guess because of popular demand. Yeah. And just the feeling that you get when you walk in there. Yeah. It's like nothing else.
Yep.
Same way like you went to Wrigley this past week and you probably saw something that was completely magical.
Yes.
And in a whole different light, right? You've been to Wrigley hundreds of times. You didn't see it like you had seen it then. Yep. You know, we played wiffle ball and we have tournaments at Sliders and thank God for Woody and his crew for letting us do that, because we've been able to raise a ton of money out there. He knows darn well it's just not the same.
Right.
It doesn't have the same feeling.
Yep.
You know, we've kind of partnered with some people, and we've got some cool people that are involved in our wiffle ball tournament that want to do cool things for us, but they want to do it at EP Field. And it's like, well, we would love for that to happen, but the logistics of it are just can't do it.
It's a little sacred ground.
But it is. But people want to do stuff there. They want to hold concerts there, and they want to. But it's still in the middle of a it's a busy road right there.
Yeah.
So, but all that stuff's great because it's just, it's a testament of how much it means to people that know you can't, every year I get asked, well, how are you going to get bigger? Well, I can't, as for EP Field and for the Wiffle Ball tournament at EP Field, we just cannot. We can't add teams because there's no time and there's just not a whole lot of place to put people.
Yep.
Short of shutting down the road, which is something that we are strongly going to try to do going forward, just because of the foot traffic that we're going to have going forward. But and if anybody's seen they say Field of Dreams, it really is, but the feeling you can't replicate it.
Nope.
So that's why it'll never be taken out of the backyard.
Yeah. Awesome. So all the funds raised from the tournament go to ALZ. So let's talk a little bit about that. You've already spoken to why that cause is important, but you do other stuff throughout the year as well. So what does, talk just a little bit about all the things going on and how are the funds dispersed and things like that?
So in our first mission statement, it was all proceeds go to ALZ. Well, that's when we were raising $1,000, and we went to 7 or 6.5 or whatever. Then we went to 10, and it was like, we're writing check for $10,000 Alzheimer's. Yeah. Well, now that we're raising hundreds of thousands of dollars, we have kind of backed off of all the proceeds go to Alzheimer's, where it's just a portion. It's a really good chunk. Every year we write a check for about $25,000 to Alzheimer's, and that's huge. And we've invited the Alzheimer's out, and they have also agreed with us that what we do in our community now is maybe not more important, but it's just as important because we're touching people's lives that need it right this instant. And it's people that it's every color of every ribbon, and we don't discriminate, right? Yep. If you have somebody that that's going through a hard time, it can be leukemia, it can be a house fire, it can be anything. We want to throw a tournament at Sliders and raise money for it. So that's something that I think it was the 5th year we were like, we're getting too big. We need to do something else. Sure. So we put the 2 fields at Sliders, and that's just opened up a ton of doors. The first year we did $100,000 in like 6 tournaments. It's incredible. Yes. And we did it for, the Peacemaker Project 703, and everybody that's near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. Sure. Leukemia. There's just so many ribbons that we touched in just, one summer / fall that we knew that we were on the right path. Yeah. And
it's individual families. It's not
people necessarily we've written checks to people that we don't even know.
Right.
And we don't even see, we hand the check off and they go and give it to them. But we know that if it's for a good cause, we're going to do it. Yep. And again, our face and our name is going to continue to be 217 ALZ because that's where it started. And that's what's made this possible. But with the help of the community and the people in it, we've been able to branch out and actually touch the people in this community.
Sure. So. Well, just last year, there was a big name at the tournament. Yep. Where do all the teams come from? Like, how far does it reach?
So, I noted earlier, at first it was us, right? It was your brother and your other brother, and we were all fighting in the championship, right? And it was our families and our friends. Then we kind of started getting a little bit bigger, and we're getting teams from Warrensburg and Forsyth and Sullivan, and then the big one for us, I think that kind of started getting going was this place called the Yish in Newton, Illinois. And we're familiar with Newton because we were in the Apollo, right? So we're like, oh yeah, we know where Newton's at. Well, it's 2.5 hours away. Yeah. But they had the same kind of mindset that we do, and they love to play wiffle ball. Yeah. So they started coming to us, we went to them, and that kind of started turning our wheels like, man, we could probably really, outreach to some people here. Then we went viral. On
when Twitter. Was the first time we went viral?
I think it was after year 4. We were all sitting underneath the tent counting the money, because that's like our favorite time. Right. We were all gathered, and all of a sudden, Gavin, Ethan's older brother, came out and was like, "We've gone viral!" We're like, "What are you talking about?" Well, Barstool picked up a clip, and kind of from there, at that point, we thought it was over. Like, we're going nationwide, which is, the end goal. But it calmed down from there. But that was, that was the view thing. So we got a lot of views there, and then everybody in town either knew about it or knew something about it. So like when you brought it up, it wasn't just like, what are you talking about? Right. That kind of started reaching to other communities. And then this past year, like you mentioned, Bailey Zimmerman came in the kind of the height of his climb. Yeah. Which his climb's been incredible. Yeah. And he felt the same thing that everybody else feels.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just a dude from, now that I've met him,
Yeah.
he's an incredible guy.
Yeah.
And for us, he's kind of a kid, but he's not. He's a dude.
He's an adult.
He's the
adult.
dude.
Yeah.
He's that dude right now. But anyway, he felt the same exact thing and was like, I'm coming back next year. I'm like, you haven't even played a game? He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is what, this is really, really cool. But again, it's just that feeling of, and at that point, we hadn't even raised $1 really. We hadn't helped anybody yet.
Right.
He was already on board. So when you can get somebody like that, and he's, I won't say he's local, but he's from Illinois.
Sure.
So he probably had a little heartstring on that too. But he just saw, what happened. And it was so crazy because he came in, I believe it was Wednesday he came in. So after the first night, so, but he was there literally
every night.
And he had a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of got in trouble. He was supposed to be writing songs and he was playing wiffle ball.
Yeah.
But he was engaged. He was there. And then he was the last one off the field. He was throwing pitches to kids at like 11:30 at night. Like we had to shut the lights off on him because he didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Well, now he wants to come back. So that can bring, that can open the door for a lot of different things.
Sure.
We've always talked about where we can go and what we can do, and we would love to take not EP Field because again, it's a 1 in a million type thing, but take this thing on the road and go borrow somebody else's backyard and throw a tournament for whatever, whatever somebody needs, we'll be there to do it. And if we can get guys like him on board with that, which, as soon as they see it, we know that we know the product that we have is going to work.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
So we're confident about it. I don't want to say we're, conceited about it, but we know that if we get you to EP Field, you're going to be hooked because but it's not us. It's the people that are there.
Sure.
It's the community that, like I said, you got people that probably don't like each other that are standing arm in arm for hours on end and there's never a problem.
No. So
in that regard, we would love to see us take off and go throw tournaments for people, of that stature. But yeah, we're in the works with a couple different things. We're looking at tailgating tall boys, going and volunteering for them. Because Bailey obviously is going to be there.
Yeah,
and
that's a popular event.
So
here
that's
locally.
in Bloomington. Yeah.
Yep.
And really, the initial talks were all those guys were there, and they're like, "All right, what do we got to do?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, we can't play wiffle ball during tailgate tall boys, right?" I was like, "Let us volunteer. Let's hopefully get just on the same page." And because what we're about is awareness and raising and putting our brand on anything and everything. I don't care what it is, as long as it's good. I don't care what it is. If we can put our name and our brand and the purple on there, it'll start the conversation. And at the end of the day, the awareness for Alzheimer's is the biggest thing.
Right.
Getting the T-shirts on the kids and getting them in school and they wear them on freaking picture day is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yes.
Like seriously, like
they're proud.
We've raised almost $500,000, and that was like that's worth more than that because they're wearing the shirts to school and they're talking about it. And my daughter Addie, she knows. She knows why she wears purple. It's not like, oh yeah, Daddy throws this wiffle ball tournament. She's like, no, we help sick people.
Sure.
And she's 5.
Yeah.
So if we can do that, we can infiltrate and I say infiltrate because that's what it is.
Yeah.
If we can get into those kids' head that early, who knows what those kids can do? We started this 7 years ago and look where it's gone. And we weren't very passionate about it because hell, we didn't know anything about it.
Right.
So now that we do know, it's kind of become, it takes over. Yeah. And we're running full speed with it.
Good. So, well, first, how does the neighborhood embrace you? Because it is a neighborhood. We've discussed that. It's a backyard, and there's a lot of vehicle traffic. Yep. There's trailer traffic. I mean, there's people everywhere. So
all day.
Does the neighborhood hate us? Are we welcome there? Like,
if they hate us, they haven't told us that they hate us yet. So, kind of like with the volunteers, we do things that we try to reach out to. Obviously, Jeannie goes around and knocks on every door and says, "It's happening again. Very sorry, but if there's anything, anytime that you have a problem with, please come to us." And we've had a couple things that have been out of our control that have happened, but nothing to the point where they're like, this is shut down, you can't do it anymore.
Sure.
And it's a testament to the people. There's some people in the neighborhood that knew us before that.
Sure.
Like obviously Jeannie's a very outgoing person. They knew who Jeannie was at the end of the street, right?
Right.
But then they got to come and see what we were doing and see the kids and see just kind of where the passion comes from. So they've been incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, and without them, we don't do it. It's done.
Sure.
If they want us to, that's the one thing that can shut us down.
Sure.
And I say shut us down, we're just going to move to sliders. But then again, it takes away the...
It does.
It takes away the whole magic of
the
the reason why we created it.
Yeah.
No, they've been incredible.
Yeah. God bless them,
we've fed them. We've done anything that we can. So when we've taken precautions to make sure that there isn't as much foot traffic or cars, there's no parking on that street unless it's them, unless we're right in front of Jeannie's house. We have, again, I'd love to see if we couldn't get the road somehow shut down just for them to get out.
Sure.
And that would create, less havoc for them as well. But, anything, and obviously we're like, any ideas you have to make it better for you, we're all about.
Sure.
When we're up and going and it's Friday night and it's 10 o'clock and we're still going on the DJ, like, okay, it's time to shut down because there's people that are trying to,
Yep.
We're very mindful of that our fate is in their hands if they so choose for it to be. So,
sure.
But they've just been incredible.
It's awesome. Okay. So 7 years ago, how old was Ethan?
12.
Okay, so in 7 years, and not just Ethan, I say Ethan because he's the co-creator here, but other people involved in this were young too then. I mean,
all his buddies.
Yeah, so how does something like this, how do you think that makes an impact in their lives moving forward?
I just feel like, they... At least his buddies, and I can't speak, they're all grown young men now.
Yes, yeah.
I can't speak for them, but I think they would echo that, they saw something so small. I mean, literally so small and grow into basically a brand. At least in this community it is, in my eyes. And that encourages people no matter what it is, right? If you take something with one wiffle ball and one bat and 30 people, and now you've turned it into this organization that's handing checks to people that they don't even know, it's incredible. And then it trickles down to the twins. Everybody knows the twins because they know about wiffle ball, which they know the reason why we're doing it. They hear the meetings, whether sometimes that's good or not. Yeah. But they're great kids, and to that point, so are Ethan's buddies. They've started there and getting their butt kicked for it wasn't 7 years, about 4 years, 3 years maybe, and then they, became, the people to beat. But they still sit there every single year. You see it, and they work.
Yes,
they volunteer.
Yes,
they work.
They do.
They don't just go. They're not the cool kids that just go play and then they dip. They are there every second, and they come back.
Yep.
And same thing with like Owen's age. Those kids, they love it. They and whether that's helped them in life or not, I bet it has, because they've probably been in some sticky situations. Yeah. Which, credit to the people that put them in there. People kind of do it and then they back off because they realize, what they're doing, and we're all competitive, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter when a call is made. But just kids like that, I think of the Driscolls and the Finks and those guys that, they are a staple of what we do now. We can't do it without them either. Right. And I think that translate into the people that they are. I want to think that, right? That's that kind of gives you a warm and fuzzy, but because all those kids are good kids, as far as I know, right?
Yeah.
No, yes. But just in the sense of when they're there, it's they're just part of the family. And Ethan's won awards, whether he wanted it or not. Yeah. Ethan, he's not going to ask for anything, and he doesn't want to be in the limelight. He would probably not want to do this right now. Sure. But he's really matured and grown up very quickly in this, because he's the guy. And it's I think I would hope that it impacted him in a good way. Sure. From everything, our conversations, it has. But yeah, like I said, if people can see what just a 12-year-old, can do, and an uncle with a couple buddies, it's immeasurable.
How do you encourage, if you could speak to, maybe not 12-year-olds today, but young professionals, young people that want to get involved and want to get started in something maybe bigger than yourselves? Yeah. What do you tell people? How do they get involved?
Shoot or shoot. Shoot your shot. You never know until you try. And that's so cliche. Just saying it kind of made me throw up a little bit. But at the same time, that's the point. You're going to fail at things. And if it's something that you're passionate about, you'll find a way to make it work. Yeah. It helps knowing people. but we didn't I knew people, but I didn't know people in the professional aspect that I do now.
Right.
I didn't know where to get, mats from
$5,000, $10,000, whatever you want.
I would never in my wildest dreams thought I would go up to somebody like, hey, can I have $5,000 and trust me with it? I mean, think about that. In our childhood, would you ever thought I would have
Geoff Owens, I would not have given you $5,000.
But right. So we've all grown in a sense where
absolutely.
It's just incredible. So if I guess my advice would be just try it. And reach out to those people that are successful and know that they have a good fingerprint on what they do or the community that's around you, because people say it all the time, Ailey shouts it from the rooftops. This community, it helps itself.
Yep.
And they say that probably in a lot of communities, but we've seen it firsthand.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, we're known for some bad things, but there's a lot of good.
Yeah.
And you just don't know where it's at until you go look for it.
Sure. How do people sign up? When can people sign up? Like, when does that? I should know these things.
You should know.
Kurt's the logistical planner of our family. I'm just.
You guys send me the same text, just in different ways.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so every year it goes back to my core value, or our core values of the tournament. If you played last year, you have a spot. End of story. Don't care. If you sponsored last year, you have an opportunity to sponsor next year. No questions asked. We want to tip our cap to the people that helped us since day one.
Sure.
So if you have played, you are going to play again if you want to. Now, if you don't, and we do see a lot of teams do come back. Obviously, there's those people that have conflicts with vacations, which we have seen people move vacations now, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Sorry to the wives out there that hate me for that.
I know, but it's a thing.
It's a thing. So, and because you do it for the right reasons, but the kids would much rather be at EP Field than stuck at a dinner and
than doing literally anything else. They'd rather be at EP Field.
So you can sign up for 2 weeks
if
you had a team last year.
Okay.
We don't know when that is yet.
Okay.
Typically, I like to do that like 3 months in advance.
Okay.
Then after that, it's open sesame.
Okay.
So usually we see about 20 spots open up.
Okay.
The kids are a little bit trickier.
Okay.
Because some kids have to go up and some kids have to stay, and you just don't know. You have to break up teams because of the age, all that fun stuff.
Okay. What is you call it the minors?
I call it the minors. So if you're a young man and you're going into junior high,
seventh grade.
You play up.
Okay.
If you're a female and you're going into high school, you play up.
Okay. Okay.
So junior high girls can still be in the minors.
Okay.
The boys that are going to be in junior high, they have to play up.
Okay.
And that's such a debate. And I've gotten plenty of feedback, which I love the feedback because that means that people are talking about it.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Yep.
It's just a line that we have to draw in the sand, and we have to go with it.
Right.
Because if not, you're going to have 6 divisions.
Yeah.
Trust me, because the biggest thing that I'm hearing now, is when's the old man division coming?
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it. But then you're taking away, the Sweet 16 and the Sunday. Yeah. I mean, and you're just changing things that in our eyes don't necessarily need to be changed.
Sure.
But at the same time, they would work.
Are you old man division now?
I would
Is that
be
what
old.
you consider?
As many injuries as I've had, I would be considered
the
the mayor of the old division. So.
Sure.
So once I get to that level, we might.
Then you're going to change
because
it.
I'm the one that does the scheduling, so I'm the one that can make that choice. No, but so we'll just continue to do that. And again, we give everybody an opportunity to sign up a couple weeks in advance before we open it up to God and everybody. So,
how much does it cost?
$25. Always has, always will.
You can't beat that. $25.
I mean,
come on.
For what you get, everybody gets a T-shirt.
Yep.
It is absolutely 100% always will be free to get in. We don't charge.
Yep.
The only reason we've thought about charging $1 a piece is to count how many people actually come in.
I know, because I was going to ask.
Because we have an idea, right? Like but at the same time, we don't.
You don't, really.
We can make a good guess on it.
Yeah.
But that way we would, $1 a person. So if we got $500 that day, 500 people walked in.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That is the only reason we've talked about having a fee.
Yep.
Because in our eyes, we could charge quite a bit to get into this thing.
Yeah.
And we could make the concession stands out of this world. But we don't, because what we want is for people to come and spend money and and that creates more money for other people, not for us.
Right.
So
yeah, and truly it is affordable. I mean, for me, taking my family anywhere,
in your family,
not affordable.
Being affordable places is really hard.
It is at Wiffle Ball.
Well, there you go. Yeah, because we encourage it. We have concession stands because people are there for so long that you almost have to have it for people, or else they'll pass out.
Yeah.
But we encourage outside coolers. We encourage bring McDonald's, bring whatever you need. Yeah. We're not throwing you out because you opened a bag of chips that we're not selling you. It is strictly there for the environment and for just something else that makes it more of a ballpark feel. Because we come up with different ways to get money from people. And I say get money from people, it's money that, and I don't know this because I don't, I'm a kind of an outsider when it comes to just people coming in and watching. I feel like people come there knowing that they're going to spend an X amount of money.
Sure.
They're going to donate this amount of money tonight, unless something else crazy happens that we come up with, like, oh, that's cool, I'm going to throw an extra 20 or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, we don't want to charge to get there.
Sure.
And it's the same for like the neighbors coming down or the old lady down the street that has heard it for 6 years, but heard good things and wants to check it out. And she gets to the gate and it's $10. It's like, no, you're going in.
Right.
Everything's free. You can go there literally with $0 and have the time of your life.
Yep.
And you can, from Wednesday or Tuesday to Sunday.
Yep.
At any time you can come there and you can bring a long chair. You can do whatever you want. Sit there all day and for free.
Soak it up.
Yep.
Who's the best team?
Well, it has to be the Vipers, right? Except for it's not, because the Irish Assassins have a three-peat going.
No.
So for a while there, it was the Vipers, and then the Driscolls decided that they were gonna come in and just dominate, really.
And also like recruit people. I feel like what goes on here?
So Dickie had to take a leave of absence, and they kind of filled a spot.
Yeah.
With one of your family members,
I know.
actually.
What is happening?
So they're only getting better, but. No, but at the same time, there's 20. I'm going to get in trouble for this. I would say there's 20 teams. Obviously, there's tiers, right? And the Assassins are here, and then there's the tier. And there's probably 8 teams in this tier, and there's probably 8 teams down, and there's 4 teams like the Average Joes last year that people didn't really know about that got second.
I know.
So there's 20 teams that, if they get hot enough, could make a run and win the whole thing. They got to get through the Assassins first. That's just the way it is.
It is what it is. Who's the best pitcher?
Your brother.
Hands down.
Your younger brother.
All right.
Hands down. 100%.
Yeah. He learned all that from playing against
Luke. He also learned to hit off of you, too, is what we found out.
I know. Yeah. I don't devote as much time as them. I'm busy.
Yeah.
Who's the best hitter?
Oh, Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy Driscoll.
Yeah. What's your favorite little kid team?
Oh, I can't answer that.
I
cannot. It's all of them. It is all of them.
I know.
That's my favorite part of this whole thing. Yeah. Seriously, Tuesday night, Wednesday night are the best time for me. Not only because it's only 4 hours, I know that we can get in and out, we can do this thing.
Yep.
And I'm not, dog tired.
Exhausted.
It's just the look on their faces and the reactions. And honestly, and your daughter had it last year, the defeat.
Yeah.
I mean, the turmoil, but then they overcome it and they get up and they come back the next day and they're a new kid.
Yeah.
It's like it never happened.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I'll see people at the gym and, the Noah Mittens and the Rip.
Yeah.
Hey, we're ready.
Yep.
Or Teddy, I'll come. I went to a baseball game of his. Yeah. He's like, I'm coming for it this year. I said, you damn right you are.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I could pick a minor team.
Watching the little kids is the best because it does.
Actually, I will. Sissy and Logan's team. How about that?
Those are my two favorite teams.
Those are my two favorite teams.
That's good enough. Watching the little kids is the best though because it does remind you, like they do have the shortest memory.
Yes.
Like it is. I mean, any sport, anybody that's ever played sports knows the up and down and the roller coaster it is. And as an adult, and
it can crush you too.
It can. It is hurtful. It is straight up hurtful sometimes, but it kind of just reminds you, as you go through life.
Well, and I love and again, one of my favorite parts is, I go watch the kids play basketball. I go watch the kids play baseball. Whenever I can, I go watch a game. They play so hard and they take wiffle ball so dang serious. Like it's kind of like, it reminds me like the FIFA World Cup. Like it only comes around so often. Yeah. So you got to go all the way.
Hard.
Yeah. So just that right there, you know,
Yeah.
they come with their eye black and they're
Yeah.
for their half-hour games.
And they're watching like the board
Yep.
and like the stat and like everything.
They're all into it. And then the other good thing about kids, you know, when they do good, you know, they have their celebrations now, which we had too. It's just on a whole nother level
yes.
now. You know, they're grittying on the way to home plate.
Yes.
But they do that and they're not trying to show up the other kids. They're just doing it because they're having the time of their lives.
Yep.
You know, they're not doing it to, you know, nana boo boo.
Yeah.
But it's just because they are so engulfed in what they're doing that they're having so much fun.
Yep. It is like Wrigley.
It is
for them in the World
Those
Series
lights go up
Yep.
and it's over for them. So that's
Yep.
that's really the best part of it.
Yep. How do people find the 217 Wiffle Ball Classic?
Well, like anything, you got to go on Facebook.
Okay.
We do have a website.
Okay.
But people don't just go surf the web and
No.
you can actually, if you do 217 Wiffle Ball Classic, there's a lot of YouTube videos of us on there. But the best way we have found so far to get the word out to, you know, scheduling and events is Facebook. So 217 AOZ Backyard Wiffle Ball Classic.
Okay. It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. If you put Wiffle Ball Classic, we'll probably be the first people to pop up, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely if you put
Close.
217. But we do have a website, 217wbclassic.org.
Okay.
That's where we do all our signups and stuff.
Okay.
So if you see an event on Facebook, go to our Facebook page, click our website. It'll take you right to it, take you right to whatever event we're doing that day. You know, we do call fountains. We do, like you said, dueling pianos and whatnot. So everything that we sign up for, we do through that. But yeah, Facebook's probably the best. As of right now, it's the best way to get our word out.
Yep. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on to talk about
having me.
To talk about wiffle ball. Yeah, it's a fun
See, but isn't that cool? Like we're talking about wiffle ball, but we're talking about raising money for just whatever.
Yeah.
It's not about wiffle ball.
Yeah.
Which is the coolest thing.
It is. It is. Looking forward to it again this year. It is truly the highlight of certainly my kids' summer. It's a highlight of a lot of people's. I know. I can't even compete anymore.
I do get those side eyes every once in a while. Like, I'm supposed to be in Texas or I'm supposed to be in the Keys right now. I'm like, well, you're here with me in the rain.
Sorry.
So
I know. So we're looking forward to another fun year, and we just truly wish you guys all the best. And we're so proud.
Yeah, we're looking forward to. We got some tricks up our sleeves too. So
awesome.
We are looking forward to this year.
Good.
And yeah, we can't thank you guys enough.
All right. Thanks for being on.
Thanks.
All right.
Can't feel my